Welcome to 2Cents FC. I'm your host, Amobi Okugo, back again with my guy, L. Each week, we'll be talking with individuals from around the soccer world, learning about their stories and getting their unfiltered thoughts and opinions. This week, we're joined by a very special guest, footballer, gamer, sneakerhead, Jorian Baucom. Getting to know Jorian, talking about her playing career, and learning about some of her off-pitch endeavors is what we're going to be talking about today. Hope you guys have enjoyed your holiday season, but let's get right into it. Jorian, welcome. Thank you for taking the time.
Thanks. What's up, y'all?
What's going on?
Yeah, first and foremost, congrats on a great season. Hope the off-season's treating you well. We start off everything with 2 truths and a cap. So obviously L gave you a heads up, but let's get right into it.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So just a quick rundown for those who aren't familiar. I'll be asking Jorian will give us 3 facts about herself. 2 will be true, 1 will be a lie, and Amobi and I have to guess what that lie is. So with me being up, I'm feeling comfortable right now about my chances, but we'll see what happens. Jorian, whenever you're ready.
Okay. Well, this one. Okay. So I'm gonna start with my first ever sports jersey that I received as a kid was Cristiano Ronaldo. I am artistic. I can paint. I can draw. I can do it all. And I'm a gamer. Favorite video games, college. I know, y'all got me. Okay, so maybe like a truth and a cap.
Okay, we'll give you time if you want to add one more. It's all good.
I have 2 dogs.
Okay. Oh, what you thinking, L? Gamer, sneakerhead.
I still feel like
you have to have like an eye for that.
The last one,
so I think
is still a cap because it took her a little minute to she had to think about how many dogs she said she wanted to say that she had. So, and I know that the gaming thing was going to be the cap. No, that's the truth. That's the truth.
That's the truth. Yeah. The way she was explaining, like, I can do it all, like, I think that's for sure true. She's a gamer and a sneakerhead, so you got to have, like, that eye for it. So, but first jersey, Cristiano.
I'm going to go with Cristiano. I'm gonna just shoot it up.
Sneaker, gamer head, some FIFA. The first jersey, you probably think it would be like, oh. 2 dogs? Nah, I'm going with the dog. Dogs is cap.
All right. Cap on the dogs and cap on the jersey?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. It was the jersey. I had to play y'all a little bit, think kind of hard on the dogs.
We're going to get into it, but I have a feeling that she may have played other sports. So I'm just guessing, but we're going to get into it right now.
All right, cool. So, now I lost again, but we'll make it up. So, first question we ask, like most of our guests or all of our guests, is when did you fall in love with soccer?
Well, I started playing since I was 4, and obviously played other sports. And I would honestly say around that young age, because that was the sport that I most enjoyed playing. I was probably better at than the other sports. And being an only child, I kind of dipped into everything. And I would say, yeah, literally 4 years old, couldn't stop, loved it since.
Okay. And then can you talk a little bit about your origin story, like where you're from and how it kind of played a role in, the sports you played growing up and like growing up, with soccer as one of the main sports you played?
Yeah, so from Scottsdale, Arizona, like I said, only child. Parents wanted me to stay active, get involved in any sport possible. And, obviously being a female soccer player, and at that, like a Black female soccer player, I grew up in a predominantly white neighborhood, school, did all that up until college. When I went to LSU, is basically when I started seeing diversity in culture. So being one of the only Black soccer players growing up on my high school team, club teams, there, a select amount of us. And it was definitely hard. I would say it was definitely hard growing up and people around you not necessarily understanding like why certain things happened to us. And, got called the N-word my first time in grade in like elementary school. And, my white teammates didn't understand, but they knew it was super hurtful. And, you got to have tough skin early growing up. And I definitely think that helps you on and off the field as well. And, you're tough to stay strong, not let that shit affect you. But, even in almost 2022, racism is still very alive these days. And, soccer is kind of my go-to to escape from that. And obviously you can't necessarily escape from certain experiences and stuff that you go through that are bad, but having a ball at my feet, being surrounded by my teammates, people that love and support you as well. Definitely, I would say soccer is my anchor, my go-to to keep me level.
That's what it's all about. So real quick, if you were to change, anything to like grow the women's game from, Black female perspective, what would that look like, as you've dealt with some certain experiences in your life, as we grow the game, how can we get, more Black women involved at a younger age so that you're not the only one on your team, or when you go to tournaments, it's not like, wow, I'm just here all by myself,
I mean, I think it starts, with your role models growing up and like me speaking out right now and showing young Black girls that if they do want to play soccer, that they can do it. And, growing up, I had Crystal Dunn, Sydney Leroux, and now that we're starting to have more Black female players to look up to, I think it's super important that we continue to have our voice. And I think the more, young girls see people like us on TV and out in the media, that, they can mimic that and know that it's attainable to do so. And I definitely think the women's game is growing, of course. And personally for me, during my time with Racing Louisville, I would take the time to talk to academy players. And there's a young Black girl that, I even look up to her. She's phenomenal at her age. She's doing stuff that I don't even think I could have done at her age. And, just providing that support and voice for them and being a role model for them that it is possible to do so. And I think there are more Black soccer players coming into the game, and it's really awesome to see, male and female.
No, most definitely. And shout out to you for doing that, because I know, and shout out to Sydney too, because I had a family friend who had a daughter and she was talking to me about soccer, and I mentioned oh yeah, I went to school with Sydney Leroux, and she immediately she shifted, and I was like, oh, you that's your. And I called up Sydney, yo, I need you to do me a favor, just talk to this girl for 5 minutes.
No
and literally
way.
Her whole she immediately ran out the door, started juggling. So you guys really do make a difference.
Yeah, well,
Can
she
you talk
is
about?
from.
Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say because she is from Arizona, so we played for the same club team, and I kind of looked up to her as a mentor as well, and try to literally mimic my game after her. And she was just my inspiration, literally since day one of club soccer, and then playing against her now, on Orlando is just, it's so crazy. We catch up and she's like, yeah, I talked to you when you're this big. And now we're both pros going at each other. It's crazy.
That's always so
cool. Yeah. Right.
So talk about your experience, when you went to college and you were like, oh, wow, I see Black people.
No, for real.
I was just trying to make a joke. I didn't know it was like that.
Coming from Arizona
seriously,
to Louisiana is a major culture shift. So definitely interested in hearing about that.
Yeah, because my high school, we had maybe I could count on one hand how many Black people graduated from my high school class, and then going to Baton Rouge, Louisiana, you're like, okay, we got some color, we got some diversity, and I loved it out there. And of course, I got to experience the red bone, yellow bone nickname, stuff like that.
That's true. I didn't even think of it like that. Yeah.
Right. Because it's I'm pretty light, but going there and, experiencing that, I actually think that's what helped me, grow and understand like our culture more. And obviously so I have a Black mom, white dad, grew up, raised by my mom's side of the family. So I was taught to be an independent Black woman my whole life. And, being taught that and not being surrounded by like people of your color, was tough. And you always had to adjust to the environment around you. So, I always had the straight hair, made sure, I looked presentable going to school. And it's like now when I got to LSU, people were like, girl, embrace your curls. We love that afro. And it's like, it just took me maybe 2-3 years to actually embrace like my hair naturally. And, it's a journey to, loving yourself, but we are here. Yeah.
I have a quick question about that. You mentioned how important, especially growing up around Black women, and how important it was for you to kind of experience that diversity. Did you ever think about attending like a HBCU while you were, scouting out colleges?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, at the end of the day, it did come to like a soccer standpoint, and I could tell at the time like LSU was wanting to really grow their program like soccer wise, because obviously people are like LSU football, basketball. And at the time, like for my class, soccer seemed like it was about to, blow up, and I wanted to help build a program with that. And so I thought that was kind of like the perfect, spot to be at the time.
For sure.
But I mean, yeah, I was definitely considering that as well. I think that would have been awesome too.
Yep.
So when it came down to your decision, how much of it was, that factor of, people that look like you? Obviously the program, they're in a rebuilding phase, and, they put a lot of emphasis on growing the program. Or was it like your official visit there and you were like, oh, I could see myself here, like based off this short time of visiting?
I would definitely say both. People still like are shocked to this day, because my final 2 decisions were between LSU, of course, and UNC Chapel Hill, which I think is everyone's like childhood dream school. And it was mine as well at the time. And, once you're actually in that environment and you do the visits and you fill out the vibes, I just, it was crazy for me to be like, damn, like, maybe UNC just really isn't it for me. And, all the stars come out of there, and it's a great program, obviously. And it was something with LSU and their belief in me as like a player and a person, which I found very important at the time, because they didn't look at me as just solely a soccer player, which I found extremely important at the time. And I could tell like the culture they were wanting to bring, the foundation they wanted to start, and making them like a high contender in the SEC. And now they just won the SEC title like a couple of years ago. So, they're on the map now, and I definitely like do not regret my decision whatsoever. I loved it there.
Nice. So obviously getting into soccer, you play as a forward. Growing up, did you always play forward? Like, were you always up top, or how did, what's your favorite position?
Midfield, not a chance. That's too much running. Like as a kid, I'm like, nah, I'm good. I like to score the goals. At times, one tournament I did jump in goal because I like to, I'm a little quick. So for PKs and stuff, I did go in goal one time. So I'm going to put that on my resume. Kind of forgot about that.
All right.
Mainly forward.
Question. Growing up, how much of it was, obviously you're very talented. Were they ever just like, oh, okay, you're fast, you're strong, we're just going to kick it up and Jorian do all the work? And how much of it was, well, actually, no, she's not just all these things, but she's also technical. She can dribble, she can hold the ball up, involve her teammates. How much of it was that?
Again, a little bit of both. I think growing up, like initially, that was kind of like the game plan. And I did play a few years up for my age. And I think that's another, like stereotype Black women soccer players have, like we're strong, we're fast, we're athletic. But up until
pace and power.
Exactly. And up until one of the clubs I was at, they emphasized strongly on like technical skill work, tactical piece. So I think that's super important to show as well. I know Crystal Dunn has touched on that a bunch of times as well, like viewing us more than just a strong athletic player on the field. Yeah. And I would say majority of the time in club and like high school and growing up, I could get away with that. And it's like, there comes a certain point where other people get just as tall, just as stronger. So you do have to rely on the technical piece. And I would say my club, I was luckily like fortunate enough to be on a club that did work on skill work with me and both my feet and stuff like that. So that was never really like an issue solely relying on athleticism.
Okay.
But
do you ever worry about like, because one of the family of the show, we had Samantha Johnson. She has a conspiracy theory that, you know, black women soccer players always end up farther and farther away from the goal, usually right back, left back, away from, you know, as a forward, you're probably one of the star players. Do you ever feel like that may happen to you, even though you're very good at your position and what you do?
I actually never have had to come across like an issue as far as changing my position. Because I think what is cool in these days is that it's very rare now to find like a true post up number 9 position. So I think when teams and coaches see that, they do capitalize on that, because there's definitely like, I would say more so false nines in the league. And like, it's hardly you see someone able to be strong and post up as well as being able to like turn, play off your midfield, use both feet. Yeah. And the only time I would ever consider changing positions is if like, obviously I absolutely had to. I think I would be a solid center back. So I've been told.
Don't say that too much. He might.
I know. Relax, guys. Yeah. I still want to play forward, but I mean, I think I could be solid at the center. You know, can't rough up people too bad since you know you're in box. But
yeah. So talk about some players that you grew up like idolizing. You know, Cristiano, that was your first jersey. You talked about Sydney Leroux, but who are some players like, oh, I need to model my game after her or him? And that's who I'm trying to like emulate.
Well, Ronaldo was my cap, by the way. Mm-hmm.
Oh, I thought you said the dogs was the cap. Mm-hmm. So I got it right.
No, I got it right.
No, you said the dogs. The dogs with
the jersey.
I do have 2 dogs.
So you got it wrong.
No, I got it right.
Oh, I'm tripping. See? Wow. Okay. Damn.
Yeah, that was Cap. But he's still one of my favorite players. I'm Team Ronaldo over Messi. Sorry. I feel like that's a very unpopular opinion. But
all right, let's go. Elle, can we end this podcast? No,
like I said. So growing up, actually, that kind of ties in to my cap. Of course, I watched soccer growing up, but as far as like a role model, Kobe Bryant was actually my first jersey ever. And he was my number 1 role model across the board. Didn't matter the sport. And obviously growing up and growing to love him more as a person and athlete, obviously he was strongly invested in women's soccer as well. Supported it. He played in Italy. And he actually does talk about soccer being his favorite sport, I think, which most people, I don't know, if they're not a fan, don't realize that. So I took my mentality and mindset and work ethic after him. But as far as like a pure soccer style growing up, I would say I liked Ibra. I know, you know, his ego, people get, you know, I love it.
Nah,
and
yeah,
being
you
like
need that.
you kind of have to have, I'm like, dang, if I could have his confidence like that on the field, I'd be solid.
Building an archetype,
you know.
Yeah.
Right. Andre, Arsenal in France. Yeah. Who else? I mean, as of right now, Salah, he's my dude. He is probably my favorite player right now to watch. I think not that he's underrated, because obviously people know him in Liverpool, but he just does things that I'm like, wow, if I could only dream of doing that. Okay. He does this thing on the field, like to watch him. Variety. And then, of course, Carly, Sid, and Tobin Heath were some of my female role models on the field growing up, and Crystal as well.
Okay. You talked about Ibra. I really want to ask you this question. You trash talk? Like, you trash talk on the field a little bit?
Only if they start it. I'm not going to start it, but I'm going to finish it. Like,
Who are some of the best trash talkers in the NWSL? I think people are asleep. Like, women's soccer players, y'all be talking trash too.
Yeah, for sure. But, there wasn't like too much trash talking, I would say, aside from, I don't know, Ashlyn Harris gets pretty hyped and tries to get in people's faces.
Okay. I'm interested. Okay.
I don't really have a say. I didn't really get to, experience that yet.
Okay. And then, after you turn pro, it's like a welcoming to, the pro environment. Who would you say was like welcomed you to the league? Like, kind of let you know it's you're here now. Like, so, for example, the Knuckleheads podcast, Q and, Darius Miles, they always ask every athlete on the show, like, who was the first athlete to like bust your ass, like make you like, damn, I didn't know it was like that. So who was that for you in the sense of like they tackled you, they fouled you, they like, cheap shot you, hit you, or like let you know like it's going to be hard to score on me type situation?
I'm not, again, I think mine is more so like on the other spectrum. I was more so the aggressive one, bodying and fouling
this
people.
This is even better then. I like this. So who was like,
I would say the refs, honestly, because some of the time I'm like, y'all are out here calling fouls that have no business being a foul just because I use my body and, like shield them off. It's not always a foul. And I mean, don't get me wrong,
I'm so glad you said that.
I will say some of my fouls were calls, but I more so see myself as the aggressor.
I love that. I'm so glad you said that. I got a question now.
So, so because you're the aggressor, who would you? I don't want to get you in trouble, but who would you say you had the easiest time working in the league so far? Like, when it comes to center backs,
NWSL is a community. They go.
No, I might have to plead the fifth on that one.
Okay, that's fair.
I feel you on that. I don't want to get you in trouble.
I can say this, though, since this technically isn't like an NWSL team. This year, we obviously hosted the Women's Cup. Mm-hmm. So we had Chicago, Bayern, and PSG. And then us, of course. And we played Bayern in the finals. And one of my goals in that game was bodying Bayern center back. Yeah, it was basically a breakaway to goal, and her and I were essentially like racing for the ball. And she tried tugging me, tried pulling me down, and I just did a quick, like Derrick Henry, like, and she flew to the ground, ate some grass, and then just me one-on-one with the goalie, and just slotted it. Hopped over her and, had my little celebration. It was lit. Can't even lie. That was probably one of my favorite highlights of the season for sure.
Dope. Yeah, we got to go find that highlight. Splice that into the show real quick.
Have that clipped up. And put it in the background how she was like, yeah, this one, she had a amazing track record, but she was eating grass.
Hey, that's when athleticism came into play.
So you've played, in Europe and in the States. What was your biggest adjustment, returning stateside from the standpoint of, soccer, professional life, everything?
I would say for the soccer piece, obviously in Europe, they're more like technical, try to strictly play soccer only, and coming to the NWSL, you kind of get both, and more so the like athleticism, physicality, which I think most people from Europe don't understand till they actually, get here in the States. And then culturally, I mean, I was in the Czech Republic, and that was a completely opposite experience than what I had in Germany. I was playing in Germany last year in the Bundesliga, and I actually loved it there. Culture was great. Soccer piece, like playing with the team was cool as well. And Prague, when I was in the Czech Republic, this was my first year pro. And, it was a beautiful city. Everything was great there. But the soccer piece is kind of where it got a little different culturally. But, overall, I encourage like most people, at least one year in their lifetime to play overseas, just because you're never going to experience something like that. And when you are overseas, you get to like travel to so many other cities, experience different things. And I thought that was probably one of my favorite things about there, because it's like, oh, the city's a 30-minute train ride or like a 45-minute flight, you know what I mean? And like, I didn't necessarily get to experience it as much in Germany because COVID literally just hit there like a couple weeks after I moved there. But I mean, it was cool. I would definitely consider it again in the future, but I'm glad I did that, was able to check that off my soccer career list,
So
no, that's amazing.
So competition wise, having played in Europe as well as NWSL, would you say the NWSL is still probably like the best women's league in the world at the moment, or are the other European leagues starting to catch up?
That's tough. I mean, I would still say, and a lot of people obviously wish to come to the States and play in the NWSL, which is why it kind of, says it for itself about being one of the best leagues in the world. But I definitely think, the top teams that make it to like Champions League, like quarters and semifinals, like are teams that could come here and easily compete, like no question.
So like what makes it appealing, to play in Europe outside of, being able to travel to other states? I know some of y'all been getting the bag out there, going to England, going to France. But what are some other reasons, that you would say for a young soccer player to go explore?
I think just development and growing your confidence. I know during like Prague in Germany, like the mental piece is a really big part in any sport. And, like during those times, I was definitely doubting myself as like a player and thinking I wasn't as good anymore because, I couldn't, make a team in the NWSL at the time. And playing overseas was kind of my way to just like get my mental, score some goals, enjoy myself, enjoy, the country that I was in. So I would say for me personally, it was definitely a good confidence booster and understanding that I do still belong, like playing soccer and being a pro.
No, that's what it's all about. So obviously you ended up back in the NWSL eventually. Last season you played at Louisville. Talk about your experience with the team. What's it like playing at Lynn Family Stadium, the facilities, and I know we're going to get into some other stuff as well, but talk about that.
Okay, where do I start? So, as most know, the league this year was a shit show, to say the absolute least. And
you're being nice saying it that way.
Exactly.
Okay.
And, being at Louisville, I think most people just saw what it portrayed online and not necessarily understanding what certain players experienced during their time there. And I mean, the one thing I will say that I'm extremely grateful for playing there was the team. Without my teammates, I genuinely was to my breaking point of quitting soccer, to again, say the least. And of course, everyone's experience there was different, but my journey and my time of being there was extremely hard, mentally and emotionally. I was told some pretty terrible things. I was treated completely different at times. They were really trying my fucking mental there. So, you know, I just tell people that just because one player is having like the time of their life or enjoying their time at that club is not the case across the board. And of course we had our head coach, our former head coach, like fired mid-season. And a lot of the things I did not agree with at all, as far as like interactions, behavior, coaching, communication. It was awful. And, you know, I started as a trial player there. So my time since day one was truly a testament of how long I could last until I reached that breaking point. You know, this is kind of the first time I've genuinely talked remotely about anything.
Whatever you feel comfortable with, it's no pressure.
Oh yeah, of course. But it's just at times it's like, wow, do I even belong on a soccer field? They took away my confidence, my self-worth. They made me question myself if I even really should be stepping on a soccer field. And I never thought I would hear myself saying that, because again, you know, I love soccer. Of course, like I think anyone that plays women's soccer, we can't say that we do it for the money. So it's definitely like a huge passion. And just to hear myself question if I even wanted to play or step on a field anymore was like, wow, I really like need to step back and try to fix my mental and my confidence piece. And, you know, there are times where I'd be 100% healthy and we go out to training and, you know, I would be a part of a couple passing patterns and then it's, Jay, you're out on the side. So I just literally be on the sideline watching my team train and just not train, not develop. It was tough and it happened. Obviously this is like my story, so I can't speak for other players, but at times like myself and another player, once we did try to be like, hey, can we get into this drill? Like, are we gonna, you know, train anymore today at all? And, you know, we would get told to go on to the other side of the field and we would be doing like a, like a square 8v or 8x8 passing pattern with the goalies. And we'd just be passing it in the square the whole time while the team's on the other side of the field, like playing and shooting and doing their thing. Yeah. And so that lasted for a good period, like of the season. And then our interim came in and things were starting to turn around and get better. You know, I was trying to, but at that point, my confidence was shot and it was more so just, you know, having to build that back up and be comfortable even playing soccer again, as crazy as that sounds. And, you know, it was definitely a learning year. And like I said, with the teammates that I had, we all had each other's backs no matter what. And that's something like I wouldn't trade for anything. And I do appreciate, you know, that part of the experience. And, but you know, it's nice. I got my couple goals, tried to do as much as I could when I AirPods keep cutting out.
Well, first and foremost, I just want to say thank you for sharing, and always know this is an open and safe space. Mm-hmm. But it's really crazy, like hearing you say that.
It sounds so much like Kaya's story.
Yeah, it sounds a lot like Kaya's story. It sounds like a lot of stories that people hear about, but they're not there. So like you only hear word of mouth. you only imagine. But when you like actually go through it, I've been in a similar situation, not to the standpoint of what you're going through, but situation where they try to frustrate you, get you to quit, get you to do something out of your character, and try to make you the scapegoat. Nah, it's not called for. So you talked about your support system, but what are some things that you did to, like, you mentioned you almost quit, but obviously you're in a good space now. What are some things that you did to kind of, I don't want to say get out that slump, because you were never in a slump. It was kind of a forced situation they try to put you in. But what are some things that you like to help you have that self-support, self-love, get your confidence back?
It's, it's still a work in progress, like to this very, second. I would say at the end of the day, coaches, trainers, whoever, everyone's going to have like an opinion. There's going to be people that are going to say terrible shit to you. And like I said, that happened to me, a conversation an assistant coach had with me this past season, try to tear me down. And it's like, at the end of the day, I'm going to respect every coach that I play for, but it's like, what does his opinion matter to me? And, at the time, like, it's hard to process that, but it's like, how is he going to tell me like my self-worth as a player, like my character, who I am as a person? And I think it's just, having talks with yourself, talking with other people instead of like keeping it into yourself and constantly doubting yourself. It's, being vulnerable and like explaining to people like that you are going through it and like it's okay to not be okay. And I think between friends, family, outside resources, just to kind of like justify and like get your head back straight, like, hey, most people can't even make it here. So the fact that you're even here, like signed onto a team, is like most people's dream, and you just got to stay positive. And it's, again, easier said than done, but yeah, I would honestly say friends and family is what kept me together this year for sure. And, again, admitting that it's okay not to be okay. I can't emphasize that enough, because I think most people don't understand like how important the mental piece can really affect like your gameplay as well. But
that's more than half the battle.
Yeah, for yes. But yeah, it, again, I think it, motivates me, helps me understand that I do belong here. And, was it the best fit? Probably not. And, you learn from that, and you hopefully like take that into your next, like wherever team I end up at or whatever environment I might be in. And I just tell myself, as long as I'm giving my all every practice or every time I step on the field, like I know I did my piece, and, just have to be okay with that.
No, I love that. You touched on a number of great things that I think people can take to heart. Kind of kill them with kindness. Having a strong support system. Saying it's okay not to be okay. Like establishing that, because as athletes, we want to be strong, we want to be prideful, we want to be competitive. But sometimes, you're going to be in a slump. Sometimes people aren't going to be, there to help you out, and you may feel alone. You may feel on your own. And as an athlete, we're so used to winning, and we're so used to praise. But then when you have the people that are supposed to help you and elevate you are finding any way under the sun to break you down, it takes its toll. So for you to open up and share that, and really give us some insight, because people can see the tweets, people can see the newsletters and the blogs, but they don't hear it from you. So for you to share that and open up and give that advice for someone that may be going through it and trying to hold it in, thinking they're strong, and then hearing you say it, now they probably share it with somebody that's close to them that can help them get through it, because we as humans, we're social beings. We can't handle it all alone. So I really appreciate you sharing that. I know El, he's a big advocate for stuff like this. We work with Kai. It's really going to help someone, even as hard as it was to share. And on a lighter note, you're free. What's next?
Right.
What are you excited? The change is off. Like where are we going? Like, I know what situation you looking for from a new team? You're a hot commodity. You got the skill set. You got the brand profile. The league is growing. You got options.
Right.
What's it looking like on that standpoint? I think your agent is a friend of the family as well.
Maggie,
friend
one of the best in the biz.
My girl, she's been awesome.
So what's it looking like? I know you're probably going to make your own announcement.
From what you can share, we don't want to mess up negotiations or anything like that. So.
Oh, no, the waiver list just came out like yesterday, literally. So it's more so just, getting my name out there, hoping, someone could just give me a shot, an opportunity, because I think for me personally, it's more so finding a team now to just, I'm looking to develop and be like the best player I can be at the end of the day. Like, I'm not worried about coming in and starting or being like a star player, because obviously like the shit I just went through this past season, all I was asking for was just to develop and get better. So, just hopefully going to a better environment where they do emphasize, a team culture. Because I think that was the main disconnect from this past season with our former coach, is that we were literally segregated between starters and non-starters. And it was very like clear and apparent, and kind of focused more so on them than like us or the people that hardly played or didn't play at all, So I think being somewhere where it's truly like a whole team, which we got toward there by the end of the year with our interim, but like you said, just hope I land at a spot and just keep doing my thing, working hard, and just.
Well, we're confident. We're more than confident we're gonna find a situation.
I appreciate y'all.
At the very least, like, let's get an opportunity. Let me get in the small side of deal to show myself.
That was crazy. I don't think I've ever been a part of a team where at certain trainings I'm just healthy watching them train. It was wild. But yeah, so y'all know just as much as I do as far as where I would land at. So nothing special. Just waiting, staying positive, going from there.
Well, we're definitely excited to follow. I know Elle might have a question to ask.
Yeah, so,
in relation to what you just shared.
So everything you've gone through, just even from growing up in Arizona, being only, Black girl on your team, and then what you had to deal with in Louisville, and also playing overseas, the mental battle over there. Like, what advice would you give to some younger players who, maybe following in your footsteps, or, maybe beginning to reach those steps that you were previously in?
Something I wish I probably would have done was to just stay true to yourself and be yourself. Because like I said, obviously I tried to, conform to, as far as changing how I looked, how I acted. You got to be very careful about the things you would say and do, but I would just say, love yourself, know your worth. It sounds very cliche, but I think it's so important. Like, understanding self-love is like the most important thing that's going to help you get far. And, just to stay strong, because obviously you are going to encounter stuff at a young age, and you're going to have to experience different things that, your white teammates and friends will never, and they can't understand it because it'll never, happen to them. And I would just say, like, continuing to speak up, don't keep anything in, share your experiences, because like you said, I don't think I realized that keeping everything in wasn't okay, because once you do finally speak up and like share your voice and your story, like there are other people that are going to come together with you that are going through the same exact thing. So.
No, that's fact.
Yeah.
All right, so let's get into some fun stuff now.
Yes.
Enough of the heaviness. Let's get into the fun stuff. So,
yeah.
So the athlete brand is more important now than it ever was, especially, starting in high school and college now with NIL. So you have this thing called Big Bun Energy. Like your bun is definitely a brand in itself. Like you know, the way you wear your hair on the field has become a brand in itself. So how did that come about? And like, you know, what are your future plans for Big Bun Energy if you plan on developing that? Or
so it honestly just started off kind of like as a joke. Cause like I said, like when I step on the field, I make sure I'm, you know, the enforcer. I come out like strong, aggressive, work hard. And a couple of the fans were like, hey, I'm all for Jorian. It's got to be something with the bun. And it kind of started off with power in the bun, because a lot of fans are saying that. And someone happened to tweet like, no, that's BBE, like that's Big Bun Energy. And I was like, hey, you know, I like that. I fuck with that. BBE. And so, right.
We gotta get Big Lotto, like send a 16 in with that.
Right. And so then, you know, more people started like getting on that trend of like BBE. And so my former teammate, Yuki, she's like artistic, one of the most creative, like interesting people you'll ever meet. And she was just bored and recreated like a sticker out of my bun. And she's like, you know, like your bun and everything, your look is blowing up. And so she made a sticker out of me with the Big Bun Energy. And it kind of just took off from there. And people are like, oh, you should make shirts. Like I would rock one. And I'm like, hey, if y'all want to rock my face, like I love that. Let's get BBE going. So then, you know, Yuki kind of took the reins, made the stickers, made the t-shirts. We kind of collaborated on like the color scheme and everything for racing fans and stuff. And it was really cool. So I think I know that's like a pretty solid thing to build off of and continue going forward with my career. But now I'm like, y'all, I had the braids in for a minute and people are like, where's the bun? And I'm like, you're right. So now I'm like, damn, I can't do another hairstyle. I got to do a bun for the rest of my life.
That's your brand now.
Yeah, so edges, everything.
Yep, baby hairs.
So with BBE, like, have you got like any hair companies hit you up like for potential deals or anything like that?
Nah, not yet. But I'm like, Eco Styler Gel, like y'all keep me right on the field.
Hey Maggie, you know what to do.
Maggie, if you listening to this, let's talk. Yeah. Actually, Maggie, let's talk.
Let me take that back. I did have one hair company reach out, and I kind of did a few things for them, for like to keep my curls and stuff right after a workout. But aside from that, you know, might have to work on that. Yeah,
that's a good segue.
I know Maggie will tune in.
That's a good segue. So if you could collaborate with any brands off the pitch, you know, what would you choose? Like what are some of like your dream brands to kind of collaborate with?
Oh, that's
if you had the opportunity.
As nerdy as this sounds, I would probably say like Call of Duty or like Activision. I think being sponsored by anything video game related would be like a dream.
Maggie, let's talk.
Yeah, you know, I know most people think I play video games, but I don't think they know to the extent. So that would be lit. And, you know, of course, for sports wise, like, you know, Nike, Adidas, Puma, whichever athletic brand is always cool. But shoe related, go, you know, East Bay, Flight Club, I don't know, any type of sneaker. I know it's pretty like rare for a sole sneaker sponsor, but you know, I'm open to it all. Okay. But I think those would be some of my top ones.
We might have to sign you to the 2Cents gaming team.
We'll be in touch. Hey, that's what he's saying.
Y'all got my info.
All right. Speaking of sneakers, though, you know, you have an extensive collection. I heard you on the Diaspora United podcast. You said you have a sneaker Instagram that I've yet to see. Do you still have that account?
I know, that was during my boredom and quarantine. I do still have it. I guess I should bring it back, but that was more so like I had so many pair of old, like, I almost said G Faces. I'm not sure if people know that, but Air Force Ones, just building up in my closet. So during quarantine, I just started like painting them, designing like how I would wear them, all my old sneakers. And then people were like, where did you get those? And I'm like, oh, I just did them myself. And they're like, oh, for real? And so then I had friends reach out and they would like send me sneakers to customize for them. And it kind of just, kept me busy, side money, during quarantine when it was really rough at the time, like peak COVID. So yeah, I do have the account still, so I might have to slide it y'all's way.
The world needs to see that.
That was that artistic side.
Yeah. Okay, so kind of staying on that, what's your favorite shoe in your collection? It could be a brand or style, or it can be like a particular shoe.
That's way too hard. I think as of right now, I'm really on a dunk trend.
Okay. They're back in style. Right.
Because they're so easy to style, and I like more simple like looks. Mm-hmm. And, you can't go wrong with ones, obviously, but I think like dunks are surpassing my love of ones right now. Maybe my Lightning 4s that I just recently got.
My daughter asked for those for Christmas. You tripping?
Yeah, because you're like
light flex.
The resale is stupid. She's not getting them.
So you're like, yellow shoes. What am I going to wear with that? But then I got them in person. I'm like, oh, these are kind of fire. Because like I'm pretty not boring with my style, but like crazy colors and stuff. I was like, no, this might be my new favorite pair. I've only worn them once, and I'm kind of scared to wear them again, but.
Yeah, you speaking my language though, because I'm a recovering sneakerhead / relapsing sneakerhead. So
it's a lifestyle people don't understand.
Definitely falling back into it. Although my strategy is a little different now because all the stuff I used to wear is so hyped and it's impossible to get. So I'm kind of tailoring my style to more of like the classic stuff, like Air Max. Air Max 90s is probably my favorite. If I had to go to Jordan, it'll be the 3s. But really like Air Max 1s, Air Max 90s. And then I've been dabbling with some like the newer stuff, 2090s. Adidas, on the Adidas side, going like Forums. I always say like the Forum is like Adidas version of the Air Force One in terms of like using that silhouette for like collaborations and a bunch of other stuff. So
I was thinking about Adidas, but okay.
I've been kind of rocking with those a little bit, just kind of like OG style with it instead of.
No, I like that because at this point for me, it's like I rely solely on sneakers, and if I'm not copying a dub off that app, I'm like, forget it, because now these days I'm like, I do not have $400 or $500 plus to be spending on a $90 shoe.
I'm not doing it.
Miss me with that, right?
And I'm from the days I used to work at Foot Locker and Foot Action, back in the day. So it's already hard for me to pay retail for a shoe, but paying over retail is not happening. So I try to find the stuff that I like that's not hype. So that's kind of like my angle. Like, all right, is this not hype? I actually like this. I'm not getting it because everybody else likes it or everybody else said it was a hyped release. Like I'm getting this. I actually like the shoe. It's the style and silhouette that I like. I like the colors. So I try to use that methodology moving forward.
So do you like, I don't even know what they're called because I'm not really like big on the Adidas part, but those slides with the holes on the side.
I don't wear any
almost
Yeezys. I don't wear it.
I don't know what specific Yeezy it is, but I'm like, Yeezys, these need to be canceled. That's my unpopular opinion, but I think those are ugly as hell, and you will never catch my foot in a pair of those.
I don't wear Yeezys at all. It doesn't appeal to me. Like the silhouette doesn't appeal. The silhouettes that he has don't appeal to me, so not really my thing.
Some of them you're like, oh, maybe I could, but that one pair, I'm like,
I do want those Salehi Benberry Crocs though.
Some Crocs. See, I also cannot.
The Salehi Benberry ones though.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know still, but
I just got on the Croc wave. Like, I just went around the house.
See, I cannot hop on that wave.
You don't gotta lie.
What'd you say, Amobi?
I said you don't gotta lie to kick it. If you wear them outside, it's cool.
I do wear them outside. I wear them, drop the kids
Your
off.
Crocs?
I mean, to running errands and stuff like that. I don't. If I
What's the stuff when they say like you put them in motorsport or you put them in relax mode?
relax mode.
Stop.
Relax mode. All right, here's the thing about me. I don't get dressed unless I have to. Like it's cozy season, cozy boy season as much as possible. I work from home. Like if I don't have to go outside, I'm not going outside. I'm not wasting the fit to go, drop my kid off at the daycare, So it's sweats, Crocs, 2 Cents gear, you know what I'm saying? Cozy with it.
Yeah. Still feel like you could slide on a different shoe, but what do I know?
Man, hey, when you become a parent, you'll understand like the convenience of it, just sliding them on and running out the door. So
I've tried. We actually Zappos was one of our sponsors for racing, and they got us all like a lavender pair of Crocs, and everyone's like, yeah, Crocs, I'm so excited. And adding what are they?
Gibbets,
whatever the hell. Yeah. And I was like, woo.
eBay.
Right,
but people love them. They really do.
So what would you say is your favorite all-time sneaker? Like your favorite, if you could only wear one for the rest of your life, what would it be?
Oh, that's tough. I think as of right now, probably just the black and white colorway low dunk.
Okay.
It's just such a staple to have, and you can't go wrong. It goes with every fit possible. Because, if I just chose one shoe that has some wild ass colors or colorway or whatever, you can only do select fits with that.
Yeah.
So I think the low black and white dunk, you really can't go wrong.
Okay. That's a good choice.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Simple.
So on top of sneakers, you mentioned earlier that you're also a big gamer. So what games are you playing at the moment? I know you mentioned Call of Duty was like your thing, but are you playing any
That's
other?
it.
Just straight Call of Duty?
Oh.
Well, okay. So the new one just came out November 5th, 4th or 5th. Right? Yep, that's the one. And so, I've been playing that every day. Got to build that KD up, gold out all my guns. So that's that's the only thing I put my time into right now. But prior to that, Mortal Kombat, huge nerd about Mortal Kombat.
Okay.
GTA.
Oh, so you don't play.
Assassin's Creed.
Assassin's Creed
is this really cool. Yeah. Well, it depends on the system. So this other game called Ghost of Tsushima, if I'm saying that correctly, it's only for PlayStation. And I think I binged that whole game in 2-3 days because the story mode was unreal. It was like a samurai game. So, I can get real deep. I'm getting excited. That was probably one of my favorite games.
All right, so another question.
Jorian, real talk,
are you story mode or are you online?
You're not as
only?
excited as L right now.
You said what?
Did you say Amobi?
I said you're not as excited as L right now. He's thinking in the
I'm
back of his head,
keeping
2 Cents
it
gaming.
Yeah,
I'm going to get into it for a second. So are you story mode or are you online only? What's your vibe?
For Call of Duty, all I play is hardcore multiplayer, but everything else story mode. Okay. Just try to beat it. The second I buy a game, I'm okay, I'm gonna beat it. The day I purchase it is kind of my mindset when I play. Yeah, Call of Duty, I won't play campaign at all. I know that's kind of, people love it, but I can't. I just want to go online straight from the jump and start,
squad up,
taking heads.
Do you play on Twitch and stuff, or you play and stream your stuff?
I need to get on it. People keep asking me to make a Twitch.
Maggie,
2 Cents gaming coming
after this interview, L is gonna email you.
Don't trip.
Jorian has a fire brand and a lot of pillars that can really take the world by storm. I'm excited to see what you got going on in the future with this gaming concept that you're talking about.
I know. I need to get on the Twitch game for real. I think it's time.
Yeah,
but
no problem.
So that might be in the future, and then Mortal Kombat. I'll play both, the story and online, but I will say, nerdy moment, that I dressed up as a Mortal Kombat character for Halloween, want to say 3 years ago, 2 years ago.
Okay, which character?
Do you know Mortal
I know a little
Kombat?
bit.
Like, could you take a guess? He's obviously like a main character.
It was a guy character.
Yeah.
Raiden.
Nah.
She's
Johnny
like,
Blaze.
oh, you don't know Mortal Kombat.
He,
Why don't you put this in the Two Truths and a Cap?
I know. I just
Didn't
see
even think about it.
it all comes later. I wouldn't even have thought to say that. It was Scorpion.
Okay, Scorpion. Bet.
He's my favorite all time badass. And so, yeah, that was my Halloween costume.
All right.
Actually came out really dope, by the way. I took a men's costume and like, you know, those like onesie like costumes. I like cut it up and basically made my own costume.
That's dope.
Okay.
So
Gonna wear it at Comic-Con.
all right, so PlayStation or Xbox or PC?
PlayStation. I love my PS5.
Okay. Yeah, I went for Series X.
I did have a 360 and I did have a 360 at one point in time, and that's when I made the switch to PS4 and haven't looked back.
Yeah, I'm actually the opposite. So I've been PlayStation all the way up to like PS3, and then I didn't have a console for a couple of years, and then I got an Xbox One, and then just stayed there. But
yeah, that's what I've kind of
But I'm gonna get a
I had
PS5
the PlayStation,
when you're more ready to leave
PS2. Okay, had the GameCube, the Wii. I think I've had every console, handheld, PSP, you name it. I have it, and I do have a Switch, so I'll play that as well.
All right, bet. Like, all right, I had a question about if there's one game you could play the rest of your life, what would it be? And I have a guess. I'm guessing it's Call of Duty. So
yeah, I would say so, or like old school, like Super Mario or like Mario Kart, something like that.
okay, that's classic.
Can't go wrong.
Now I'm involved because y'all said Mario Kart. All this other stuff y'all was talking about.
Yeah, on the old Nintendo where you pop the little game in, had that. But that's what I play on my Switch. Pokemon, Mario Kart,
Okay.
Super Smash.
I was waiting. I was like, can y'all say Mario Kart? Can y'all say Pac-Man? Can y'all say Snake? Something?
I like Pac-Man.
The old Nokia.
Yeah, okay. Relax.
Okay. Oh, that was cool. It's good to get to know like what you're about, some of the things that you're doing off the field. We definitely, I know Elle, sorry, he's going to text me right after this. Like, Jorian, her brand, and it's amazing that you have like passions off the field, because that's what is really important as athletes. So yeah, we'll definitely be in contact. And if any people are listening, make sure you guys hit Jorian. She got a lot of cool things that she's working on and things that she's passionate about.
Appreciate y'all for having me.
Hit on a couple of these rapid fires, so.
Yeah. Oh. I thought you was gonna hit it.
I was trying to let you talk. You know what I'm saying? Like you're trying to.
Okay, no.
All right, let's do it.
All right, here we go. A little rapid fire, real quick. On game days, what's your pre-match playlist? I feel like it has to match the BBB energy. BBE energy. Yeah.
But see, what's crazy is I actually listen to like super chill music before games, or like some old school R&B, whatever. But then when people get on the aux in the locker room, then like, you know, we'll get lit to some hip hop or whatever.
Okay. And then checks or stripes?
Checks.
Okay. And then who is on your five-a-side team? Say you're allowed to play small-sided now. Who's going to be part of your five-a-side team?
Oh, that's tough. Like anyone.
Anyone.
All right. I got to go with, I'd probably say Midge, Purse. Gotta think of. Oh man, you really throw me on the spot. I would say my teammate in racing, Sav McCaskill. She's competitive as hell, so I know we're about to win no matter what with her.
I love the energy. Okay.
Yeah. Okay, let's throw some others out. I would say Press.
Okay.
one more. Let's go with, I'm not.
Hey, it's your
I
team.
would say, I would say Crystal. Full powerhouse female squad.
All right.
Crystal Dunn, she could do any position actually. So I'm like, girl, do your thing.
All right. And you obviously, right?
I would say that's solid. Yeah, I counted myself as fit
for sure.
But,
I like that squad. Yeah. Okay. So we're introducing a new concept. Same concept, new name. New concept, same name. I don't know how you want to go about it, L, but trending topics now,
yes,
right?
Yes, sir.
So you want to explain it?
So formerly, no card, yellow card, red card. I just figured it's less of a mouthful to say. So we're going to call it trending topics moving forward. Same premise. I'm going to read off news headlines that can possibly have been trending on Twitter. Maybe not. And Amobi and our guests are going to give their opinions on those headlines using the soccer card system. So, no card is I agree with it or I'm cool with it. It doesn't bother me. Yellow card, I can go either way. I'm indifferent. And red card is, I disagree or I'm not cool with that or, foul, obviously. And then give a nice quick explanation of why you gave it that card. All right. Got it?
Sounds good.
All right.
Let's get it.
First up, we got Pat McAfee of the Pat McAfee Show lands a monumental sponsorship deal with FanDuel, reportedly worth $30 million per year for 4 years, so like $120 million. Woo! So what card are we giving this deal for? I think it's a podcast. It might be a TV show. I don't know if it's on TV or if it's just on YouTube, but he got the bag. What card are we giving this deal?
Facts with the bag. Like, I'm okay with that. No card.
The only reason why I would give it a card is like, can you spread some wealth to us? I mean, we got some shows that we got.
A partner or something.
But shout out to Pat McAfee. He's an athlete.
That's crazy.
Former athlete.
They're my two dogs. Sorry.
Hey, respect. No, you're good.
They like the deal
athlete
too.
That's transitioned. Yeah, they like exactly.
Right.
Athlete that's transitioned tremendously well. Media content. Getting in front of an audience, and he did play soccer, so we rock with him. And anyone, we're not
wild.
We're not counting pockets, so for him to get the bag, it's good. There's space for all of us to win. So shout out to Pat, and we can follow in his footsteps, and hopefully, do some things on our own.
Yeah, for sure. All right, next up, Chelsea player Sam Kerr checks a pitch invader
bodying
and gets yellow carded. So two prong. What would you do in this situation if you were in the same situation as Sam? And then what card are you giving the overall situation? Like her getting carded and all that stuff.
Well, I'm no card because I'm all for this. Sam is the GOAT for that. I would follow in her footsteps. She didn't even think about it twice. She just did walked away like.
You see how she lined her up?
She was thinking about that the whole time. I loved it. I say shout out Sam. Why she got a yellow card for that? That's where I'm gonna say give that ref a red card because that was unnecessary. But I loved it. That's all I see on my Twitter feed right now, and I'm all here for it.
Bet.
So Sam, do your thing, girl.
What'd you say, Amobi?
Yeah, I loved it.
What was he thinking?
Yeah, he was getting
lollygagging too. He was out there.
Yeah.
Taking selfies.
Right, out of pocket, phone. Yeah, no, you're getting checked.
The fact that she lined up the angle for it, I'm like, all right, I see you. Respect.
Right, and she really laid his ass out, like for real.
He had no idea it was coming. Like shoulder, had the force. Oh yeah, no card for me. The only thing is that just be careful. People are looking for any opportunity to sue somebody, so he might say his neck hurts or his shoulder hurts or everything hurts, and now Sam is in a situation when it was his fault. But that's just the how can I say, the protective nature of me. But no card, red card for the whole situation. Like, why you guys letting people on the field? How come they're lollygagging on the field? That's a danger. That's a danger to the players. And then you give her a card for that. Like,
Wild, right? But yeah, that does happen all the time. Like in the past, even during like national team games, like fans running out, and it's like, what are y'all doing for real?
Exactly, because one of these days it could be a crazy fan, and you'd be like,
seriously.
So gotta get that regulated.
All right. Next up, so MLS Next Pro launches. What card are we giving this in terms of U.S. soccer's development, and would you like to see this type of thing for the women's game? So let me rephrase that a little bit. So MLS Next Pro just launched. It's the third division reserve league for MLS teams. Currently, there's no equivalent for the NWSL. Let's see.
And real quick, USL they just started the W League, so I got to give love to them.
Right, I was going to bring that up. Yeah,
it's not within the NWSL.
I'm trying to phrase it because I didn't write this one. Amobi wrote this one.
Oh damn, you just want to call me out. I also wrote the Chelsea one though too. So or Sam Kerr. So
all right. So what card are we giving? All right, let's phrase it like this. What card are we giving the MLS for creating another third division league when you have USL League One and NISA currently in the third division? So what card are we giving MLS for this?
I might have to do a yellow for that. I'm kind of like, I'm not quite sure how I feel about it yet, because obviously it is another, league for male players to be seen and eventually like work their way up the ladder. But it's also like, I guess I'm too busy comparing to us. It's like, look at us. Like we don't have as nearly many leagues to try and like showcase ourselves, our talent. Cause it's almost like if you're not in the NWSL, like you don't have a choice but to go overseas. So, I mean, it's cool. But then again, I'm like, y'all have all these other leagues as well that I feel like it might be too much. And as far as like funding and salary, I don't know. I'm hopeful for it though, because, I always want to be optimistic for players to get their opportunity, to prove themselves and play.
Okay. What you say?
Yeah, I would say,
Yeah, so I would say, I'd say no card. I think, as you see more infrastructure and more resources coming into MLS, they have to create a division that suits their needs, and it's gonna help the development. More teams, more opportunity for players to get seen. In terms of NWSL getting to that level, definitely would love to see that. There's still a long ways to go, so I would say yellow card, but hopefully them and the W League can work together, so they can have like a feeder system. There's only so many teams in the States, and soccer at the youth level for women is probably the highest populated sport. But if they don't have a funnel to go pro, then people will fall by the wayside.
Yeah, for sure. All right, last one. Racing Louisville put a picture of Ebony Salmon on your farewell graphic. So what card are we giving them for this mishap?
Man, suspension, red, double red. I don't know what other color to give out, but I said, Lord, they were trying me like, hey, I was already down and y'all just want to kick me even more. Like, shit. Yeah, honestly, when I saw that, I thought I was like, there cannot be anything worse that could happen. Like, and it's like, y'all have one job. I don't get it. It has to go through however many people in media, and you have to sign off and approve it. And you're like, yep, this is Jorian's action shot. The one with the blonde bun, shorter height, lower socks, different number, different eye color. But that girl right there, that's Jorian. And I kind of figured this was potentially going to come up, and I kind of did my piece on social, just trying to keep it, you know, as professional and respectable as possible. But at the end of the day, it's like, that's so racially insensitive. And it's like, you, again, very few Black players on the team as is. And you're going to get me confused with the other light skin just because y'all think we look alike when we're not even close to looking identical. It's crazy. And I think what's kind of shitty, I mean, I did receive a call this morning. The fact that it took 24 hours for me to even get a response period from the team was kind of disappointing. Nor do I think if I wouldn't have made a public tweet, I don't think anything would have been said to me because, you know, like, one thing about media, once you put it out there, there's probably hundreds of people already saw it, screenshots, all that. So I think the fact of them, you know, trying to remove comments of people calling them out, and they try to hurry up and switch the graphic right away to like an actual action shot of me, and almost like thinking that no one saw it and they're kind of dismissing what they did is kind of what triggered me to finally come out about it. Because at first I'm like, damn, they fucked up. Maybe they'll reach out and just say like, you know, like, that's on us, we apologize, you know, like squash it right away. So once I saw that they tried hiding it and people are coming out about it, and I still was, you know, waiting, and they're just posting everything else. And I'm like, okay, so at this point, it's kind of disrespectful, so I'm going to say something. And just getting back, we're sorry, the coding and our media folders, they determine like what action shots go into what player's folder and this and that. I'm like, all that sounds good. You can blame it on the coding. Yeah. The media folders got mixed up, but at the end of the day, you got two Black players mixed up, and that's just, own up to it. It is what it is. Come out about it being racially insensitive, like moving forward, and like you understand how honestly fucked up it was, but it was more so like, I mean, they replied an apology, and it was like, we need to look after our approval processing better moving forward. And it's like, yeah, you know, you can only like exhaust yourself so much. So I was like, something's better than nothing. Do I agree with that statement? Not at all, because they're missing the whole point. But at the end of the day, I think nothing would have been said if I wouldn't have made that tweet. And I mean, it was just kind of disappointing. It's like, those are final regards, and like, you couldn't even make sure that it was my face that you're posting. So
what a way to put a cap on it.
Definitely.
Started ranting, red card, red for each hand.
You gave a red card. When you give a red card, you got to give the explanation. So we appreciate you sharing that. And obviously we did our research, and then we saw that yesterday, and we were just like, okay, what? I mean, I feel like sometimes you read the room. You guys already have a situation from the whole year. Don't be lazy. Don't be racially insensitive. Like, I feel like we can make a lot of money just by having like a consultancy. Like, all right, before you tweet, before you post, just send it to us first, and
send
we'll
it to
say
a Black person first. See, does it make
because
sense? Because
like you said, you know, you're leaving the team farewell. It's like, yo, show that you care. And obviously, not to downplay how hard it is to handle social media and media as a whole, but there's certain things that you just don't mistake. And that's not an honest mistake. And then to double down on it and try to flood the comments and delete posts and, you know, half-hearted apology, that just the truth will come to light. Come out.
And it was that's what it was. You know, it sucks to say like it happens, and unfortunately it does. Like, so many people like, oh, all Black people look alike, like, why is this still happening? And then at the end of the day, it's like, you literally have one job, and to do your job correctly, and that's like a mistake that I just feel like you're looking at it, and like, people had to physically like see and improve that, which just I think blows my mind the most. Or then like, once they did post their statement about the situation, 5 minutes later they announced the head coach to kind of like, you know, take away from that. And, you know, I just have to say it is what it is, but the president and GM did make a phone call to me this morning, and I do like appreciate and respect the effort, but it was just more so like, we got to stop saying it was an approval processing issue, and like moving forward, you'll be more aware of that. Perfect. Like just acknowledge that it was racially insensitive, and like, it's going to be uncomfortable, but like you know, we've been uncomfortable our whole lives. So I think you can handle this one situation.
Well, you know, one thing I can't wait for is whenever Jorian returns to Lynn Family Stadium to play against Racing Louisville. That is one game I will put on my calendar. I might live stream it. I might vlog it. I don't know what. I'm going to be there. So, Jorian,
ooh, y'all are funny. Yeah.
We just want to thank you for taking the time. We know you got a busy schedule. Mm-hmm. Call of Duty is calling.
Yeah.
No pun intended.
That's why, you know, got my controller, my headset's right next to me. It doesn't leave my sight.
As soon as you sign off.
Yeah, but to end the show on a light note, can you just leave us with something that you want people to know about you, you know, as you continue to embark on your career?
I would say that I am probably one of the most like open people you'll ever meet, and if you ever, because I've gone through a lot, and you know, I think it's important for people to understand that whether they know they can go to someone or not, whether it's family, a friend, a stranger, I'm always open to listening to everyone's story. I think I do have a good and big heart. I'm not trying to, you know, I don't like talking about myself, so this is kind of a weird question. Yeah, I just want people to know that at the end of the day, if we're friends, family, whatever, something I pride on is like, I'm always going to have your back. I'm always, no matter what the situation is, whether we go days, years talking, like, I'm always going to be there for whoever needs it. And I think that's something I take pride in, is just, you know, loyalty and staying true to myself no matter what.
No, that's
kind of just, you know, wrong with that.
That's important, and thank you for sharing. So, you know, for folks that want to connect with you, want to follow your career as you continue to, you know, blossom in your career and off-field endeavors, where can they find you? Where can they connect with you? Where can they tap in?
IG, you know, it's Jorian Baucom. Twitter, Jorian Nicole, super basic. Gamer tag, Jorian Nicole, if anyone wants to become gamer friends. Just any way you could find my contact information, like, I would just tell people to reach out.
No, most definitely. And we're definitely going to have all that information in the show notes. Are you selling any of the stickers, any merch for Big Bun Energy?
Yes, I can send y'all the link. It's actually through Yuki's website. She has a lot of cool stuff now and a lot of stickers of the rest of the team now, but definitely can drop that for y'all. Stickers, t-shirts, all that good stuff.
Yeah, so we're going to have that in the show notes as well. And shout out to Yuki too, because she's helping, you know, you with your off-field platform, you know, building your brand, and her teammates, and, you know, starting a, you know, an initiative off the field. So, you know, we always love and support that type of stuff.
Yeah, she's awesome.
But with that being said, you know, Jorian, once again, thank you so much. We're so excited for you moving forward. Hopefully you enjoy your off season, but, you know, we know you got some big things in the works coming soon. But ladies and gentlemen, that's our show for this week. Subscribe, rate, and review. It helps us get discovered. Follow us on all the socials at 2Cents FC. Check out our merch at 2centsports.shop. It's cozy season. L came out with the new line. He's rocking one of the shirts. Make sure you get your gear.
Shirt, but, you know.
Okay. It's all good.
I'm going to need to cop something. Okay.
And if you enjoy the show, consider dropping us a donation using the link in the description. It helps support the show. It helps support the costs associated with the show. It allows us to get wonderful guests like Jorian on. It allows us to get bigger and better. We just got new software for the podcast. L's doing a number of things behind the scenes that I don't even know about because of your guys' donations. So much love on that. And it's giving season. You know, Christmas is coming up. I might need a couple things. L might need a couple things. So this helps. And then tweet us your comments on the show. Any topics you want me or L to discuss, it's unfiltered. We're not Switzerland. We're not going to give you the halfway answer. You heard Jorian talk today. We very much value her being open and honest and, you know, vulnerable. You know, that's what we try to promote. So with that being said, you know, happy holidays. Thanks again, Jorian. Maggie, we will be reaching out.
For sure.
Just wanted to remind you.
Maggie, yes.
2 Cents Gaming, Jorian, we will be reaching out.
Hey, y'all know where to find me.
And anyone else that's in the gaming and some of the spaces that I definitely feel like Jorian will definitely be making some inroads in the near future, I will be reaching out. But I'm talking too much. L, close us out.
Hey, till next week, y'all. Peace out.